Hello my lovelies, how are you? I hope you're all okay. Happy Tuesday. We're going to do a little block today. Hope you all had a good weekend. Had a lush weekend. We had little sausage, little man all weekend. We had him Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it was just the best. He was just brilliant. He really was. I love him at this age. They're all, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love babies, like little, with their little fat legs and stuff. But I love them when they get to this age and they're all like, their little personalities are coming out. So I had a lovely weekend, really lovely family time, which was nice. We're going to do a block. We're going to go back to something really traditional today. It doesn't look traditional when it's finished, but a traditional technique. So we're going to do that. What have I got to tell you? First things I've got to tell you, hopefully, can you hear me? Hopefully you can. Hi Eileen, hello. If you're on the April retreats, the balance is due by this Friday, and if you haven't paid yet, lovelies, please, if you could give us a call or check your emails, because Sian has sent emails out to everybody. Balance is due by Friday. We aren't actually, we're away Thursday set up, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Duxford show. So if you're around the Duxford area, come and say hello. But we're obviously in the shop today and in the shop tomorrow. Linda will be there in the shop on Thursday, but she can't take payments because we can't do them over the phone without a laptop, and Lindy Lou doesn't do the laptop. And we're shut Friday, but Sian will be there Saturday. Or you can do it by PayPal, but check your emails, guys, okay? Just there's a few of you. Otherwise, I'm going to start chasing you on Monday. I'm going to start ringing you, going, give us your pennies. Hi Kate, hi Grace, hello my darlings. What else did I have to say to you guys? So quilt retreat off to Duxford. It's at the Imperial War Museum in Duxford, so if you are in that area, please come and say hello. Hi Jane from a lovely warm sunny conservatory in Polesworth. Oh, lovely. The sun is out today. It's quite nice out there. It's cool and a little chilly, but the sun is out, which I do like. Does feel like spring is finally arriving. I got some daffodils and little narcissus in the front garden as well that have come up, which is nice. Feels a little bit more joyous, doesn't it? Right, we're just going to crack on then. I think that. Hi Lindy Lou, hello Carol, hello everyone. So we're going to flip over to here, and what we're going to do is we're going to do some traditional paper piecing today, which I'm not a massive fan, I will freely admit, of stitching onto paper and then having to pull out all the papers. It's why I do foundation piecing on stitch and tear, because I can leave it in. But this is actually a really useful method for scraps. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do some string quilting, but on paper, and it does get your points nice. Okay, it's not like traditional foundation paper piecing. This is just using paper as a way of stabilizing all these little strips. Okay, so I made a few blocks up yesterday, just so that you could see how we can put it all together. You can see some. My camera's really low today. Don't know why it's gone. It's like it's tipped a little bit. I'll have to have a play with that. You know, you can play around with it. It's a brilliant way of using up your scraps, and you can do these any size at all and any size strips. Okay, so I've chosen to do these as 5.5 by 8.5 inch rectangles. Okay, and I cut a load of 1.5 inch strips. I literally went through my scrap bucket and cut as many 1.5 strips as I could, you know, out of all sorts of colours and designs, everything. You know, this is about using up scraps. And if you are making charity quilts, this is quick. Okay. Hi Natalie, hello. Hi Karen, it's really misty and rainy British weather. Oh, bless you. Spring will start, hopefully. Hi Cheryl. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our pattern. Now this is the cheapest printer paper I can find. You know, you don't need expensive stuff. The cheaper the better, actually. It works better. Okay. You could absolutely just leave, oh, my sun's come out. You could leave them as A4 size and make A4 blocks, okay? And you could do, you know, any size at all, genuinely any size. Hi Sandra, how are you, love? But I'm going to keep to my 5.5 by 8.5. So I'm just going to cut out, no, I have to cut them that way. 5.5 by 8.5. I just liked the proportion of that rectangle. That's the only reason I did them this size. You can do them whatever size you want, okay? So I've got several bits of copy paper. I've got an old blade. So I've got about 8 rotary cutters. This one's got an old blade in. It's really a bit too blunt for fabric. So I'm using this to cut my paper and cut out as many paper pieces. Oh, there we go. Paper pieces as you want blocks. Right, so I've just done another 3 here. We're not going to do all 3 because you'll be very bored of watching me do that. That sun's streaming in and making a really odd light. Let me just see if I can adjust the blinds a second. See if I can get it to go, because I've got very stripy at the moment. Let me just see if I go the other way. There we go. That's better. Not stripy now. So cut out whatever size you want for your finished block to be, okay? So like I said, mine are 5.5 by 8.5. And then you want to draw just one single line on these, okay? Now, you can absolutely... Oh, why is my camera going funny? It's going funny. Hang on. If I can get it to stop. There we go. Hopefully that's stopped now. I think I'm back. Right. You can absolutely just draw a diagonal line corner to corner like that. But none of your points will actually meet up very well, because you've got to make sure that this one is halfway. It'll all be sort of off center a little bit. So what I'd suggest you do is find the 1/4 inch line on your ruler, and you're going to put the 1/4 inch line corner to corner, like that. This is one of our White Gecko rulers that Crafty UK makers. And then draw a line down the ruler, which is a 1/4 inch, if I do that, a 1/4 inch off centre. That gives me my starting line. Hi Rachel, how are you, lovely? That gives me my starting point, and that's really the only prep work you need to do, okay? Well, apart from lots of cutting. Now, if you are one of these very organised people that cut all their scraps up to 2.5 inch strips and stuff, use 2.5 inch strips. You don't have to do 1.5s. These could absolutely be 2.5s if you wanted them to be. You know, if you've got leftover jelly roll strips. I just wanted to get more strips in because I was doing a smaller rectangle, so I've gone with 1.5. I'm going to grab any piece, try not to think about it, and we're going to line the first one up like that. Okay, hang on. I'm going to try and come up a little bit. I don't know what's going on with this camera. It's really low and I've got very little working space, like that. And I'm just going to chop it off a little bit bigger, okay, like that. Don't bother to measure, just chop it off. We're then going to stick another one on top. So again, try not to organise your scraps. I mean, you could do, if you want them all your blocks to be in shades of blue or green or whatever, organise your strips. But the whole point of a scrappy quilt is it's scrappy. I've gone right sides together with that one, okay, like that. And then I'm just going to pin this through. So I'm just keeping them lined up on that both raw edges, on that pencil edge, like that, and pin the first one down. Once you've got this first one in place, it goes really quickly. Really quickly. So I'm pinning through the paper as well, like that. Yeah, like I said, you can really play around with these. They can be any size, any shape, you know, any size strip as well. All right, so I've got my first one in place. We're going to go over to the sewing machine. There's a couple of things you want to do on your sewing machine. First thing you want to do is reduce your stitch length down. Now normally, I don't know if you can see this, I'm going to see if I can do that a second. I don't know if that's going to show. Now I've got my stitch length on my machine at 2.5, okay, which is like my normal piecing stitch length. I need to reduce that down, so I'm going to reduce that down to about 1.75, between 1.5 and 1.8. Okay, that's where you want your machine to sit when you're working with paper. Okay, and then hopefully I'm going to go back down here now. Hopefully that's in the right place. I'll be able to see in a second. There we go, that'll do perfect. So reduce that stitch length down. That helps massively when you're working on paper, okay? So this could, I think Sarah did one ages ago on till roll piecing, which is basically the same sort of method, but you get long thin strips with that. This, you're gonna get sort of block size, okay? What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna stitch down. Now, the other thing I should have said to you, I keep, if I haven't broken a needle, but it's gone really blunt, I don't keep all of them, but I keep a couple for just this reason. For when I'm stitching through paper or when I'm stitching through stitch and tear, I swap my needle out and use a slightly blunter one because the paper's going to blunt it anyway. So I do use a slightly blunter needle. You don't have to, it's just that you're going to need to change your needle after you've done all these paper blocks before you start piecing normally, okay? Could you use tearaway, leave it in, and you could, absolutely. And I normally do use stitch and tear, Karen, with any sort of foundation piecing. Any time that it says to use paper, I almost always use stitch and tear because I don't like tearing out these papers. But I thought, just because I don't like doing it, doesn't mean to say I shouldn't show you guys how to do it. And actually, it's not, this sort of thing is quite easy to tear away the paper. It really is. So we're now just going to fold that one out. Okay, so I like to give it a finger press first and then I'm going to iron it. Now, I'm afraid I'm on the big iron because my little iron has definitely blown up. So give that a press. You could just use a magic wand or a seam roller if you wanted to. All right, first two are in. And we're just going to add on another one. So I'm now, you can work all one direction if you want to, or you can alternate, entirely up to you. I'm going to grab this one. Now this one can be just a little bit shorter. Chop off like that. I'm going to pin that one in. I'm just using you don't need any lines now, you're just using an edge of fabric. But if you are making charity quilts and you're trying to do them as cost effectively as possible, this type of block actually looks beautiful when it's all put together. I'm actually going to do two at once now, you see. So I know I'm going to stitch down that one, but I'm also going to put one this side, and that bit is just long enough. So I don't have to keep going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. You can put two on at once you've done that first one. Okay, so I'm just lining it up on this side like that. And I'm just going to stitch down 1/4 inch on both of those, okay, and then fold them out. So over we go again. Yeah, like if you're making charity quilts or you want quilts for that are okay to throw down in the park, for the grandkids to sit on, or you want just a quilt that goes in the back of the car because the dog, you don't want to keep the dog out of your car and stuff. This type of thing uses up all those scraps of fabric, comes together really quickly. Chuck it on a fleece, an IKEA £3 fleece, and then you're done. You're done. Karen, your small line just died on you, so don't like. Well, my first one, Karen, lasted me about 13 years. I had it ages. I had a prim one, and it lasted me absolutely ages. The second one I bought from Quilted Bear, the one that's just died, at one of the shows, and I have to say it's only lasted me about 3 years. I mean, it does get used a lot, and I do leave it on sometimes as well. What block are we doing? We're just doing some string quilting, but on paper. So basically like traditional paper piecing, Marion. Maybe you can get a new one at a craft show sometime soon. Yeah, I wonder if I'm going to a craft show, Sandra. Yes. Yeah, I will have a look and see if I can get a new one this weekend, see if someone's got one. If not, I'll get one ordered. And then I'm going to press out on that one. I'm trying really hard when you make the quilt, the blocks, to not think too much if you're doing scrappy about what's going on next. Okay, you can see this is growing really quickly. So there we go. That one's not quite long enough. So that one will be. So I'm going to put a piece on this one. So they're quite, even though I'm not a massive fan of paper piecing, I actually found that I liked how quickly I made those other blocks. They're quite fun to make because they grow really quickly, and you know, there's a joy in that instant satisfaction, isn't there, of something that comes together quickly, if you're impatient like me anyway. There we go. So I'm going to put those two on, and I'm just going to keep building up. So over we go again. But like I said, the going down to the smaller stitch length really does help in a moment when we're going to take this paper out. There we go. And another bonus I have to say is White Gecko sell those little lions. We do, lovely, we do sell little lions. I will order myself a new one. What was I going to say about, I've forgotten what I was going to say now. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the joy of using this paper method rather than stitch and tear, which is fine, you can leave it in. It was a lot less bulky when you put them together. Because we're going to take the paper out, obviously, it was really nice to sew the blocks together. It was really much nicer than having the stitch and tear. You've used paper till rolls. Yes, Sarah did a whole, did a 1 o'clock on that, using till rolls for strip piecing. So this is kind of a variation of that, but I thought so many patterns use paper piecing like this, and I don't show it you very often because I don't like it very much, not this type. So I thought, no, be a good girl, show you what I'm doing. So let's add. Now you see I can kind of go back into my scraps and find my really little bits or littler bits like that and use up all of my scraps. So I'm going to put that piece on there like that. And I'm going to show you a trick in a moment. Have I got another tiddly tiny bit somewhere? Let's have a look. No, because I've just put that one on. Got it. There we go. There's a smaller bit there. Perfect. Let's put that one on that side there, like that. And another couple of lines of sewing. Cheryl, you're coming to Duxford on Saturday. If my husband wants to visit the museum, would he need a separate ticket? I have no idea, my darling. Genuinely no idea. We don't organise the show, so I don't know, love. I really don't know. You'd have to check with either Grosvenor or the Imperial War Museum themselves. I should support my own shop. Yes, I really should. Well, I do. I do support my own shop. It's just I haven't put a haberdashery order in for a little while, so I'd have to put one on just to get an iron. And I'm very impatient. I'm very, very impatient. There we go. Right. Out like that. There we go. Let's get that one on. And then out like that. Now, you might be able to see that there is a teeny tiny little square of paper that's not covered. Okay. I would not bother to put a piece in there, okay? As long as it's, right, so if you get your ruler back out, as long as it's less than 1/4 of an inch peeking out, it's going to disappear in your seam allowance. You know, there is no point trying to cover that tiny little bit. It would be part of your seam allowance. So, just iron that right out, make sure that's nice and flat. There we go. And now we're going to do some trimming. So, whoop, let me drop my scissors. Flip it over, and what we're going to do is trim it to the size of the paper. So hopefully the paper is still 5.5 by 8.5, which it is. The paper doesn't hopefully shrink with the iron. There we go, it hasn't. And I'm just going to trim that up to 5.5 by 8.5. Okay, now don't get, if it's teeny tiny like this, I throw this away. I'm sorry, but that goes in the textile recycling, all right? But you might crumb quilt, in which case you might keep bits like that. Pieces like that, I would actually keep because they will do another block, all right? So little tiny diddy bits, I don't keep those, I'm afraid. Slightly bigger bits, I do, and use on the end of my blocks. So they can go back in that pile. Ooh. Where am I? There I am. And then I'm going to do 5.5 by 8.5 that way, basically in line with the paper, like that. And that's my block done. And once, if you're not chatter and nonsense like me, isn't that expensive? It isn't that expensive. Oh, I think you're talking about the museum. No, it's not that expensive to get in, I don't think, Han. I genuinely don't know, though. I'm really sorry, Cheryl. Can't remember. Once you get into the swing of these, you can actually like do that first bit on like 5 or 6 blocks, stitch away, do the next bit, so you're not backwards and forwards in as much. It goes really, really quickly after that point. Okay, so next thing you want to do is get rid of this paper. And because, can you see, I use such a small stitch length, it perforates the paper for you. So pull it back and press it, and then it will just pull out, okay? And then you can just, and there's no paper left in there. I don't tend to like paper when I'm doing foundation paper piecing, because you've got lots and lots of different shapes and it's really hard to get it out cleanly. Because this is straight lines, it comes out really easily, okay? I'm just going to take the papers out. It's like tearing raffle tickets. There we go, all the way along there. Oh, come on, just caught that little bit. I'll just pull that tiny little bit. That's the, see, this is the bit that annoys me, when you get a teeny tiny bit like that stuck in. Okay, it's nice when it all comes out cleanly, but when it doesn't, you've got to get the tweezers out, and it just annoys. And I'm not a patient person. I've not got the patience for it. There we go, all the way along there, and nearly done. I would make all my blocks and then I would sit and do all this removing of paper. I really would. Okay, nearly there. Hang on, 2 more bits to go. Get my finger in there, like that. Ooh. Come on. Out we come. And last piece, and then that one hopefully will come out like that. I've got my papers out, and you've now got a really nice, neat block. You know, it comes together very quickly. You can then play around. You would make as many of these as you want. Right, so you will see that these are going in opposite directions. You don't have to do that. You can have them all going the same direction. Let me just, you could put all your blocks together in the same direction. Let me get these going all the same way, okay, like this. And you can make it really scrappy and really like fun and funky. You could put sashing in between. Again, if you're making quilts for charities and you need like slightly more grown up, slightly more, you know, like for teenagers type, you know, ones, I think they work brilliantly for that, because they're mad colours all combined. It's lovely. Okay, so you can do them all like that, all the same way. And that was going from top left to bottom right when I drew my line right back at the beginning. However, if you want to make chevrons like this, or diamonds, there we go, like that, because I don't want those two to touch, you need to do them in opposite directions. So you need to do half of your blocks that way, top left to bottom right, and then the other ones top right to bottom left. So you're sewing in opposite directions, okay? And then you can lie them out and make chevrons, okay? Or you can lie them out and make diamonds. So if I put this one onto here and that one onto there, like that, you can see you get these. Oh, you can't because the camera's so low. I don't know what's happened to it. Like that, you can make these beautiful diamond shapes. You know, you can then add on others. If I go that way a little bit, like that, you can add on other ones like that. So you could, you know, do them so that it goes up, you know, zigzags, up, down, up, down, up, down, like that. You know, you could do them so that you've got individual diamonds and then sash the diamonds. That looks really cute. You could do it so that your main diamond's in the centre, and then you work out from there and you keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger diamonds. You know, there's lots and lots of things you can do. When you're putting them together, okay, I would nest my seams, okay, which is a little bit faffy, but it's worth doing. So you're gonna put them right sides together like that, and you don't want both seams going the same way, so just flip one of them and pin them, Okay, this is one of the few times I do pin, and I pin a lot with this type of piecing. Okay, so I'm going to go along to that one, make sure that one's lined up. Ooh, let's move just a weeny bit. I'm just trying to get that nicely situated. I felt that kind of click in next to each other, and pin it. And once I've sewn this, I would then re-iron these little seams. In fact, I'll do that now for you. Okay, not that pin, it's very bent. And go there. It is really, oh, that one's naturally gone the right way, like that. Make sure that's not right there. Let's just get that one in place. Come on, there it is. Okay, I'm gonna just stitch that down 1/4 inch now. Because we've taken those papers out, it's a lot easier to sew. It really is. So let's just stitch this down 1/4 inch. You guys all still there? You've all gone very quiet. There we go. And it doesn't matter that that corner wasn't on there, because it's disappeared into the seam allowance. And actually it ends up like you've clipped your corner. There we go. Down I go. Time to use some scraps. Absolutely, hun. Absolutely. There we go. Take that back out like that. I just think they're lovely quilts, lovely scrappy quilts. And then before I do anything, I'm just going to repress those seams. So just make sure they go in the right way. It will help later on when you're putting everything together. Okay, so just give that a quick press so it's nice and flat. And then I can open that out. And it doesn't really matter which way you press it. You could press them open. I don't like doing that, but you could press it open. But hopefully you'll be able to see that it was worth it, because my points are really nice and neat. Okay, you can see they've come together. Hopefully you can see they've come together really, really nicely. Just by taking that time just to pin each of them and flipping the ones that are going in the wrong direction. Okay, and then you can add those to, you know, as many blocks as you want. There we go. You know, make as many scrappy blocks as you like. So that's it from me today, lovelies. Relatively quick one. Like I said, foundation paper piecing is not something. Oh, hang on. Why does that one camera keep freezing? 2 seconds, lovelies. There we go. I'm back now. Doesn't like that one camera. Don't know why. Brilliant way of using up scraps. Particularly, you know, spring is on its way. Summer's nearly here. You need a blanket, you know, a quilt to chuck in the car, take down to the beach. You know, for dog walking, and you just want to sit and look at the view for a little bit. You could make one of these, roll it all up. You know, it goes in a pocket type thing. But it uses up those scraps. You know, uses up all your little bits of scraps and stuff. You can use very, very small amounts. You know, when you think that one there, it's what, 2.5 by 1.5, tiny, tiny little bits. And you can make something really beautiful from them. And I actually don't mind the paper on that block. I really don't. I'm not a fan of paper on foundation piecing when they're all different angles and you've got to try and get it out. Hate that, which is why I always use stitch and tear. But actually when it's a nice straight line like that, I didn't mind that method at all. Are you doing the thing with the mini charms tomorrow? Yes, I am. So because the cameras weren't working last Wednesday, tomorrow night I'm going to do the mini charm. The book pouch that we did a few weeks ago, a lot, like I said, when the cameras weren't working, a lot of you asked me about changing the size, maybe adding a pocket and all that type of thing. So we're going to play with that tomorrow, and I'm going to show you how to do the pocket with the mini charm and all the rest of it. All right, so that's what we're going to do tomorrow. That's right. You're very welcome, Francis. Cool. That's it for me today. Relatively quick one. I will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. I promise. I promise. Even if I have to make Alex film it with my phone, if it goes wrong again, we're doing it. All right. And then I will maybe see some of you at the Duxford show over the weekend. So happy. Oh yeah, we're away for Mother's Day as well, aren't we? I hope you guys have got some nice plans. I'm going to be working instead of being spoiled. I mean, how very dare they? Anyway, take care, my darlings. Bye.